All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Some little bit of technical difficulties for me on here, but my name is Brian McLogan, and this is Open Live Q&A. This is actually week number 116. Had a little busy weekend for myself and got a little bit taken. I got to my computer. I'm like, all right, I get a little more extra time. And then my computer restarts. So I had to my computer restarted. So I had to like boot up my whole computer and then craziness. But in tonight's live stream, what I want to do is cover with you guys is a couple kind of topics that I think, a lot of students can, in my opinion, a lot of times can relate to is the fact of like kind of feeling stupid learning up with math. So, hello, Rar. Sorry I didn't get to you back in time. Grumpy Muck, Owen, and Noah. Good to have you guys on. One thing I did notice is also, I'm not sure if it's daylight savings that we did that. I set this at 10 p.m. and I am sorry about that. I have no idea where 10 p.m. came from. I think I just was an honest mistake. So I do apologize for that. I was basically gone all day today, and also I've been kind of redoing, just doing some kind of like home projects as well. So everything's kind of been, thrown off. I think it's like that same kind of thing. I think when you kind of get into like the spring break, time frame, right? So people, kind of take that week off, and it's like, all right, we've been doing everything, for so long, we've been so good, and then you kind of get in your groove, and then now it's like kind of the spring weather's getting nicer, and kind of turning the tide a little bit from there. um so here off, hey, how are you? So I didn't actually have any time to prepare any of the questions, but for those of you that do have questions on the live stream, please feel free to go to brianmclogan.com/Q&A, and I'll be more than happy to be able to see what I can answer tonight. We'll see how long this is going to go. I am kind of pretty tired though. A little bit different than usually my other Sundays, where I kind of have time to prep and kind of like mentally prepare. But if I don't get your questions tonight, guys, I do apologize for that. But feel free to go and communicate into the Discord, where you guys can definitely get questions as well. But let me go and have a little fun and say hi to you guys for a little bit. And then we'll go and get into definitely some things about feeling stupid while learning math, and then obviously into your questions. What's my favorite math course? I think as a teacher, as far as teaching goes, would definitely be pre-calculus and kind of calculus. And then as a student, it was learning graph theory. How do you know you have music for, passion is kind of one of those interesting words, for on that. Passions come and go as well, too. So I don't think it's something that, I think you enjoy do something as much as you enjoy. And when the moment where you really feel, I think that's one of those things where you got to follow your gut, right? So for instance, same thing like for me teaching, like I had a passion for teaching, right? I really love teaching, but I also knew it was time for me to do something differently, right? And so even though teaching was my passion to be inside the classroom, like things changed. Like I'm not happy that, or I'm not sad, leaving. I mean, I am into a point, but I'm like, I don't feel like I left my passion behind, right? I'm on exploring different things. So I think, find out some things that you enjoy, do them to the most of your extent, do the best you can. And then when you feel like it's the best time, like kind of follow the gut as best you can. When you're trying to do something new, then do something new. Well, thank you so much, Madison. I am so happy to be able to help you out. I same kind of thing. I was kind of more preferred like geometry. I think I like geometry more than algebra, but I like a lot of the algebra. I like kind of like the thinking version of geometry. Best of luck to me. Good for you. I think maybe, hopefully, but best of luck. What's crazy you've gone through as a teacher? That could probably go on for a long time. As I mean, I've dealt with, through my 14 years, I've just had crazy things that I've gone through. Craziest experience. I don't think I've had like crazy things going on, but I've had a lot of interesting things. I'll just leave it. I'll leave you. I don't even know. Crazy experience. I don't really think I can. I don't think I don't know. I don't. I would have to think about it as far as a good crazy experience I've gone through as a teacher. I've gone through quite a bit though. I love popsicles. I don't know. Yes, it is possible to feel stupid, but we'll definitely go ahead and talk about the stupid here in just about a couple more minutes. I do like logarithms. Oh, awesome. So happy to help you out. It is using Ecamm. I can go ahead and select your guys' chats from on there. That is who I use. Ecamm is who I use for the live streams. I feel like I'm still a teacher. I'm still a teacher online and making YouTube videos, but no, I'm not a teacher inside of the classroom. You are very welcome, Ray. All right, so let's go and talk about, because I want to get to these, and I'll probably get to the math questions in there kind of quickly as well. So let's go ahead and talk about kind of feeling stupid, because I think it's definitely something I can feel like I can relate to, being as a student that struggled with math and like kind of feeling stupid, and then also something I feel like I can relate to a lot with students as well. And there's a couple things I want you guys to there's a couple things I want you to understand about math, and because I think a couple of things that we do that does not help us with our learning of mathematics is, one, putting mathematics on a pedestal, meaning that if you automatically understand something in mathematics, or you feel like you're doing good in class, then you like that person is smart. And if you don't understand something exactly when it's like first taught, then you are stupid. Or if you aren't, even if you're struggling to understand something, because the whole fact of like math, one of the things I love about mathematics is how much it actually relates to a lot of the real life. And a lot of times we're not going to get things and instantly, right? You're gonna have to put in a lot of work. It's not going to make a lot of sense, and that's perfectly fine. Like, learning is messy, right? We don't always just like I think Tony Robbins, I remember, had something talking about like learning to walk, right? When we're learning to walk, like I have a 1-year-old, right? She's getting really close to that learning to walk phrase. It's not just one of those things like, oh, here's how you walk, and like, boom, now she knows how to do it. She's good. Like, there's a lot of falling, right? And there's a lot of trial and error, but we're giving her time. And I think a lot of times we have to give ourselves time. We don't think that, and a lot of times, well, actually, we do think this, and this is kind of like where that pedestal comes into. It's like, oh, one baby like learns to walk, 3 months before the other baby. It's not like that baby's better, smarter, more gifted, than the other baby, right? We all have our different learning. We all have our different experiences that, that might help us be able to gain or understand something quicker or earlier than somebody else, right? And I think what we do that hurts us a lot of times, why we feel stupid, is, one, we compare ourselves to other people, right? And again, like, there's a lot of people, we all have different experiences as we're going through. Like, yes, of course, there's some nature, or some nature in that compared to the nurture. But there's a lot of when we're like learning our content, like especially in mathematics, there's a lot that kind of goes into it. There's a lot of experiences and that help people be able to understand the knowledge. And then also there's a lot that we don't look, we don't look to see how much people are practicing, or what they're doing behind the scenes. And we always just look at like a grade, or a test score, and we just kind of feel like that is going to be the end all be all of how you should compare yourself to somebody else. And I think a lot of times when we do that, that kind of makes, if we're not up to that same par or same level, then we feel bad about ourselves. And I think it's something that we got to be really, really careful of, because in the exact same thing of like um, learning to walk, I guess, the thing, or swinging a baseball, like we can all achieve, like we all know how to walk, right? Or at least that have gone through like the same process with 2 legs. We walk, like we all got there. And some people took longer than others, and that's fine. The same thing like swinging a baseball. Some people have never swung a baseball bat or swung and hit a baseball bat, and fine. Can we teach you to do that? Absolutely we can. Right? Now, if you practice 4 hours a day swinging a baseball and you're trying to go to the major leagues, like, are you going to have an advantage? Like, I remember when I was practicing baseball, like I used to, late in the night, I'd be swinging my bats, right? I'd wake up. I used to go before school and I'd be practicing swinging. Like, of course, I'm going to do or look better or be better than somebody that's just picked up a baseball bat for the first time, right? And a lot of people put in a lot of extra time, a lot of extra practice into, being a better student or understanding the math, and they're going to have more exposure to learning math. So you comparing yourself to how other people is not going to be crediting you as at all, for for feeling good about yourself and learning math, right? And a lot of times, you're gonna think, what's wrong with me, or why can't I be like that person, and why am I so stupid? And so please be careful with that. And the other thing too is, I think, with feeling stupid with math, it's like we just assume that like that math is something that you should just get, right? It's like we look at people that understand math or like kind of understand. We're like, oh well, I should just understand this. And like, no, I mean, math is messy. Learning is messy. Sometimes it might take you years for something to finally sink in. And that's totally okay for you as a brain to be doing that, right? Just like I said, for like learning to walk or swinging a baseball, like that's totally okay. I know that might not be totally okay with your grade, meaning that you have to have something submitted within a couple of weeks, not a couple of years. But don't feel as you're stupid that you can't handle that, right? I mean, obviously you need to. Obviously, there are some constraints that we have to go in and deal with, but the learning process, ladies and gentlemen, has a lot of ups and downs, and it's not always. I think a lot of times we just expect that like learning is going to be like linear or exponential, right? To kind of throw in some math terms, but no, it's really messy. And I think one of the times that even how well I feel like I understand this, understanding struggling as a math student, being as a teacher, I'd be like, all right, that's like I think, in my opinion, my greatest gift, that I could connect with students with this understanding of having no idea what's going on in class. I mean, totally confused. But even myself, um, I would get stuck with this because a lot of times I would forget, or I would get frustrated when I could not visualize what other students were struggling with, right? So don't feel stupid, because even if you're not understanding it, and you maybe your teacher or your friend, they may be saying things or interacting with you where it feels like you're stupid, like they're having a problem being able to interpret the way that you're visualizing things, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think the tough thing is when a lot of times we feel stupid is, a lot of times from the conversations that we have maybe with a teacher, and or somebody that we feel is smart to understand things, and they cannot, if they feel like math has come easy to them, or they have a lot of practice and a lot of experience, it's very difficult to sometimes kind of erase that and totally forget about it and put themselves in your shoes where you're struggling with some of those things. And a lot of times, and you got to think too about math, like it's very difficult a lot of times to like verbalize what exactly you're having trouble understanding, right? So, um, you know, and this is what I was saying, that I was, very, I thought I would be good at this, but there's always, every single year, there's always times where students would not understand something. I thought maybe I'd understand why they were struggling, but I'd be wrong, right? And maybe my interactions might make them feel stupid. And obviously, that'd never be something that I'd ever want a student to, that I would want to make a student feel like. But I want you to understand that I know there's students that told me, that how I responded to them made them feel like that. And, that's, it causes me as a pause as a teacher, especially one that feels like I can relate to students for feeling, stupid, and because I was that student, and not wanting to do that, but also made me realize that, we always have to be very careful with the language and how we're always, choosing to interact with the process or interact with the students to make sure that they feel, comfortable, and to always, kind of look at things, to keep an open mind for how students are going to interpret the way that the content is going to be taught. But, just a reminder for all of you that have struggled with math and kind of feel stupid. One, do not compare yourself to other people. Nothing is going to come good of that, right? You are you. Do the best you can, and don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Number two is get rid of the pedestal that you have to understand math is like a snap in their thumb, right? The learning process takes time. It takes effort. You got to put in the work. And it takes time. Sometimes if you don't understand something in a day, a week, like that's okay. Like you might need more experiences than somebody else, right? And that's okay. Just keep on putting in the work. But and then and number three is what else was um I thought I had something else. I was thinking I had one where I had top of my tongue. Now I can't even think about it. We talked about putting math on a pedestal, or learning on a pedestal. Here's the other thing. Well, here's the one thing I didn't even talk about yet. But yeah, we put like the learning math, like you have to understand it. But then the other thing is like doing math, like put on the pedestal, right? Like we all have our own qualities. We all have our own things that we can be special in. And like, yes, learning math, obviously as a math teacher, I want everybody to experience the joy and And the benefits of math that I have had is, as a student, as a teacher, but no class or or no class or no subject should ever make you feel stupid. Like, we all have our qualities to go through, and yes, I want you to be able to put in 100% of your best effort to do the absolute best that you can, but don't let any student, teacher, or course or grade, make you feel stupid. They do not deserve, they do not own that right to make you feel in that way. So do the absolute best you can. Keep on moving forward, and hope you guys can have a strong end to the rest of the year, because we're going to start talking about exam season and studying season here coming up soon. So I hope this was a little bit beneficial for those of you who kind of get through the mistakes or the feeling stupid a lot of and as I mentioned, I didn't really get to my live stream as well from what I wanted. So hopefully this was helpful, and I hopefully this is a little bit of a pick me up for some of you guys that I know the year can sometimes definitely drag on, right? And it's been a tough couple of years that we've had, but don't let anything make you feel stupid for that, because I know you guys can do it. All right, so let's go and get to some of your guys' questions, and then I'll try to do the best I can on my math questions. I don't know how many we have. Oh, I think we should be all right. Russ, no, I truly reflective. No, I mean, obviously they are important and they are reflective, but no, I don't think they're truly reflective. Do you ever stop learning? No, you shouldn't. And I think whenever you start getting complacent with like learning, that's when your learning stops. And hey, Cram, thank you so much. I went back to school after dropping out of college 10 years ago. Awesome. Awesome for going back to school, right? And obviously for financial reasons or whatever. You're really valuable to understand. Well, awesome. So happy to be able to help you out, and congratulations on going back to school, because it doesn't matter whatever you drop out for. The idea of actually going back and saying, hey, I'm going to go back to this is awesome. And kudos to you for going back to there. I'm so happy I could help. Well, it's happy to be able to help you out. Well, awesome. I'm glad that kind of went through. I wasn't really sure how I was going to go through. Yes, good job, Anna. Yes, good. Well, awesome, Golden Gamer. Happy to be able to help you out. And tips on the ACT, kind of going through this, guys. Watch, question, do practice problems, practice them, practice problems, practice problems, practice problems, right? Practice problems. What's your advice to remember formulas? I just did one. I just did a live stream a couple weeks ago about practicing formulas or memorizing formulas. So but yeah, I think creating a cheat sheet is one way that I would definitely go through that. So you can think of limit as like the value that the graph is going to be approaching, that we're trying to approach from the left and from the right. But yeah, that's a very vague, short answer. But yeah, there's a ton of videos, or even I have, and know there's many others for on there. All right, so just a reminder, guys, I'm going to go and get into the math questions, and if you guys do have questions for the math, then feel free to just go and put them in at the brianmcculloch.com/Q&A, and we'll go from there. So I think at 9:30, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and get started with on this. I think we're going to do a little bit lighter of a Q&A for tonight, because I am tired, and it's been a long day and a long week for myself. So I'm going to go ahead and actually switch this over. Still have your guys' chat that I can see, but I'm going to go ahead and complete that out. Close that out. Any tips on how to learn when a teacher teaches at a very fast pace? Well, I teach at a very fast pace. And a lot of times, even on my YouTube videos, a lot of people are like, slow down, you're talking too fast. And it's just kind of like one of those natural things. And I know I would even do that in not in teaching too. Students like, you teach way too fast, And sometimes for other students, it was like, you teach too slow, right? So, I'd always try to do the best for them on there, but I think the one thing is like letting your teacher know, like, it's not like I try or wanted to teach fast. I mean, sometimes I'd try to get things done in a certain amount of time. So that's why sometimes I felt like I, needed to rush. But a lot of times it was just, just me kind of being in my teacher and like kind of talking my way through things. So I think just one thing is like making sure that you can, speak to the teacher, let them know about that, and maybe ask them for some certain things for that. Um, Yes. Well, I don't, yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of issues and a lot of pressures that we have right now in current schooling that I'm not a big fan of. Well, hey, Mirza. Well, awesome. Pre-calculus, you got this. All right. Yeah, I mean, becoming a math teacher, I think is awesome, and I think the one thing is like looking for ways how can you improve math education and having people, have an enjoyment of math. And I think unfortunately right now there's still a lot of pressure on our students, on our teachers, for the, you know, getting high marks and going into high school, which is great for a lot of students, but it's not great for everybody. So we're gonna have to find that balance. We're gonna have to find that mix for what we need. All right, so let's go and see what questions I have for this week. I literally feel like I could fall asleep right at this moment, but we'll try to see if I can get some questions in for you guys. At least do some math for in there, and then you guys can obviously still go to the questions for on there. Oh, let's do. Um, that could be a completely whole live stream. If there's one thing you guys want to get me off topic and talking about the whole complete time, then that would definitely be on there. But if you have, definitely feel free to always submit some of those things or in those kind of questions, and I'd love to kind of talk more about that. Um, Chrissy celebrates 3 months of membership. I thought on campus I was easier. Oh, well, hey, happy anniversary on 3 months. I mean, I don't know what you mean by math teachers require that. I think obviously we all have different things where strong areas and different branches of mathematics. So no, I mean, and obviously with the teacher shortage and everything like that, it's gonna be hard to get through everybody having something. Um, I just need an overall explanation. The median right back said, I don't remember those. I'd have to go back. Oh, that student came from where I'm not going to be able to get to those. I didn't have time to look at that. So apologies. Let's go to the next one. Where's, oh, individual. Sorry, Patrick. All right, let's look at another question. Well, you are very welcome. That's almost all the questions. No difficulty. Awesome. Math class are what's their motive? My math teacher doesn't give any extra credit or isn't forgiving. Yeah, I mean I mean, I think it's tough. I think it's a tough balance between pushing kids, right? And then making it where students are not engaged in the class and they just feel it so hard and they're so stressed out. And then they're just going to come up with either cheating or just not caring about the class to engage. So, there's a line there. And I think one of the harder parts about this is that we still teach on this like one teacher, 30 students, and you have to create a lesson and curriculum or in teaching that's going to satisfy all 30 of those students. And it's just not realistic, right? I mean, you're going to satisfy some students, on the top and maybe hit a little bit in the middle, and then there's going to be some other students like on the bottom that are not going to fit at all. And again, I'm not talking about just like top and bottom. Like the same thing can be said on like if you teach another lesson, you can have kids that are going to be completely bored and other students that it's like, so I think it's very difficult to teach on this broad kind of approach for all, trying to match the right style, pace, and lesson for so many students all at one time, or at least how our current system is built up. And thank you, very welcome, Henry. All right, let me go and take a look at this question. I need to look through on that one, which again, I don't have time. I need to like read it. So a lot. So the first one has been two math problems that have been all geometry, and so then I'm like, kind of, I just have one that's like algebra, so I can just kind of like look through it more. It's kind of basic, but yeah, like the geometry, I like them with the more thinking, but I gotta like, I gotta look through them and think through them. Oh yeah, this is the other one. I'd have to look back through that one as well. I don't like to answer questions that I'm not like 100% understanding of what the question is asking or what I need to do. Here's a verifying question. I think I did these all last week. Did I delete these? David. No, don't gonna do these. All right, I think we might not be able to do math question. So this one, yeah, is it possible to learn trigonometry and geometry in 2 to 3 months for final exams? I mean, yes, it's possible. Just kind of depends, I guess, on how you, how much work and stuff you want to put into it. So you know what, we're gonna do a non-math live stream for today. I apologize for all of you that really had some questions, but my brain is kind of shot, and I am tired. So I'm going to just answer whatever questions you guys have in the chat and just change it up from on this. So if you guys do have any questions on that, don't throw any math equations because I'd rather not do any kind of math chat. But yeah, if you guys just have any questions in the chat, I'll hang around and answer them for a little bit, longer for that. Well, practice definitely helps. And then, I think just doing a lot of practice and start with the most easy, like start with very basic ones. I think from a lot of times we get stuck and want to really like difficult ones because they can be difficult, right? That's okay. Like you're not stupid if you struggle. Like they can be very difficult. So practice on really, really easy ones, really, really basic ones, and then slowly kind of improve. And then also practice on ones that you have the answer on, right? Don't, if that you can follow step by step on how to do it. Well, yes, stop procrastinating. That's my advice. And also try to find some things that are going to, that you feel are going to motivate you to kind of push you forward and, kind of use some time to, segment your time that you hopefully can not be so easily to procrastinate. Not a lot. Mean value and Rolle's theorem are not the difficult, but I can definitely understand, like especially when you're getting to like for the calculus, like calculus exam. To be honest with you, I'm just not a big proponent of memorizing formulas. I just tell my students to write them down as many times or work through many problems. That you are just very very familiar and they're on like top of your head rather than trying to like reading and memorizing them. Like just do as much practice as possible so they kind of like feel second nature to you. I do not think I don't have many statistics videos, unfortunately. I don't like a lot of these questions, but I'll try to do my best here. I have an option of choosing Algebra 2 or another class. Algebra 2 is the better option, but I'm scared it's too hard for me. So do you have any advice? No, I think you just got to talk to maybe your current teacher. And then, obviously when you talk to your new upcoming teacher, once you have them, maybe just kind of, again, this is for like next year too. So, I think the best thing to do is talk to your current teacher where they kind of feel like you are lacking like skills wise. And then maybe try to work on that until next year. And then obviously, let your other teacher know. I think it's good to let them know some of your kind of hesitations about taking the course. And then, ask them for some things that you can do to get, make sure that you are, prepared, or if you're starting to slip, that you guys can make that decision early. If the teacher doesn't feel like you are prepared. So how do you deal with the competitive scene in high school ranks and everything? I have a good rank, but it's just hard to stay consistent and keep up at the very top. Yeah, I think it's bullcrap. I think I don't think this is something that you need to be focused on or paying attention to or really caring about at all. And I think that's one of the really hard things that, I talked about with people feeling stupid is they feel like if they don't like if they're a lower rank than somebody else, then they're not as smart as that other person, which is completely not true. Um, so I have a really hard time with just these easy things that we can kind of monitor and rank students with, but have really little meaning to what we're able to accomplish and or our ability in real life. And I've never had a conversation with anybody post high school about their rank, and I don't think it's going to impact your life at all. So the fact that it's taking up stress and frustration or thought in your brain, I think is a waste. And and again, I'm not saying like your intentions are not good, because of course they are, right? I want you to be putting in and caring about the most about your grade and being the best that you can possibly be. But I think you also got to be very careful with how that can kind of overtake um and what's the word I'm trying to think of, kind of like not stain, but like blur what you really need to be focusing on. So hopefully that helps. What is something to focus on when studying pre-calculus? Pre-calculus, I'm not sure. I can do physics. I don't like doing physics, and so I haven't done physics in a really long time, so I won't be good for any questions. Good question. What do you do aside from work and YouTube? Well, I do have 3 children, so that was a big reason for me stepping away from the classroom. And yeah, I do like to work out. So I work out every day, and I do CrossFit, and so I enjoy that. And yeah, I like to kind of do things around the house. Like right now, I'm refinishing doors and stuff like that. So I'm just enjoying that kind of stuff. Probably like pre-calculus and calculus were my 2 favorite. Well, no, don't feel stupid right now. Struggling in school and I want to do better, but I can never get motivated to study. How do I overcome this? Well, I think you probably need somebody that you can study with. You know, maybe somebody that's going to push you when you don't like, for instance, like working out. The reason why I like going to CrossFit is because I have other people that I work out kind of with, right? I don't work out by myself. I used to work out by myself. Well, I'm sorry. I used to try to work out by myself, and I never was consistent. I never did it, and I just would stop, right? So, for instance, let's kind of go through the thing here. Like, yeah, like you know, once I kind of got out of organized sports, I played rugby. So my working out was as a team, right? And then once I stopped playing rugby, I was like, all right, I'm going to work out. So I used to go to the gym all by myself, and I could do it for a little bit, and then I just kind of got sick, bored, and stopped. And that's why I knew like I needed people to be with me. And like, what do you think, Matt? Like, what do you think studying for math is like different? Like, no, guys, it's the same thing. Like, a lot of us don't enjoy having to study for like the math, but it's really helpful to have others that we can study with, right? And that we enjoy being around. That it can help us and push us and be consistent. So yeah, find a study partner, find a study group. I think that can be very helpful for you. Yeah, that'd be the same thing. Um, that many colleges are kind of putting those away, so none of this, not as much of them. If you just think of like sine, cosine, tangent, they're just ratios. They're just comparison. That's all they are. They're comparison of a right triangle based on an angle. So looking at given a given angle, it's just comparing how big is one side compared to the next, and that's it. That's just comparison, right? We compare things all the time, right? How many books are on this wall compared to how many books are on that wall, right? That is a comparison. And the comparison of sides of the triangle is just another comparison. Um, it's a it's a lot. I would just make sure you talk with your teacher, your math teacher, statistics teacher, your teacher or your counselor, and your parents. Make sure it's a good fit for you. I have a question. How do you factor triangle when the first variable is negative? Just factor it out. and then you can multiply it back into one of your factors. So it doesn't really matter which one like you multiply back through, but you can initially just factor it out, and then you can factor from there. That's at least my opinion, or the way I like to do this. Yeah, I mean, I think that just takes practice. I mean, I don't think there's a way you can just be like, just do this one thing to practice, like get better at critical thinking. Like practice those more difficult problems, right? If you're just going to practice the more basic ones, then you're going to stay at more basic questions. But if you really kind of focus on those deep dive questions, you're going to get better at it. Uh, all right, guys, I am going to end it here for tonight. Thank you so much for staying with me, and please do not ever make math make you feel stupid. And if you're just joining onto the live stream, you're wondering what exactly I'm talking about, just go back to watch the beginning of the live stream. I hope it was helpful for those of you that sometimes feel down and stupid learning math. But again, like, don't compare yourself to anybody else. Do the best you can. Don't worry if you're not understanding something. Math takes time, or I'm sorry, learning takes time. And math can be difficult, right? But don't put it on a pedestal, guys. It's just a course. And while I want everybody to find and have success, sometimes we don't have those when we think we're going to have it. And sometimes it might come down and later in life or in a different experience than we're expecting. So I wish you guys all the best, and don't feel stupid. Have a great night and have a great week. All right, cheers.